Hello there guys, it's Captain Invisible here and welcome to turn number 4 of the Swissmod custom campaign for Medieval 2 Total War. This is the Northmen, and so let's get back into the campaign and see what's been going on. Okay, so we've got a candidate for adoption, this Albrecht von Essen, quite a nice name actually, and he's actually a pretty substantial general, quite talented in command, chivalry, and pretty loyal. So we're just going to accept him straight off. Now, if you've not noticed by now, we actually lost quite a lot last turn, as we were sieging Genghis. We actually the Turks actually sallied out, and I knew it was a possibility that they could sally out and destroy the Emperor's army, but I didn't realise how good they would be able to do it. But actually they've seriously diminished our power over here. They destroyed the Emperor's army over here. In fact, I believe these cavalry are probably the remnants of his army, and the infantry are probably the remnants of his army as well. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, I know these spearmen were part of the fort over here. I just can't remember whether these cavalry were excess from the Emperor's army or whether they were just here. In any case, we did lose quite a lot here, and also he scattered our fleet as well, which he's currently trying to hunt down and destroy with his ship here. What I also believe he's doing, he probably has a ship heading over to collect more of his troops so that he can come down here and try and finish us off. So yeah, not a great turn so far, but we can. What we're going to do this turn is do a bit of damage control and just try and stop this army from really getting any further and disrupting us any more than it already has. So we do have our new general in this settlement of Ringo, and then we've got the Emperor over here. So now we did have a mission on here, I believe, to reinforce Orwell, but that seems to have gone. I don't quite know why it's disappeared, because I could have really done with those troops that Orwell was going to send over to Ringo. Unless these are the troops. Oh no, in fact, yeah, these are the troops, the peasants, because I didn't have peasants before. So in these guys retreating, actually it's given us some peasants, which is better than nothing, I guess. But again, peasants are not really what I was looking for. So we're going to merge these guys. We're not allowed to move any of our troops out of Orwell this turn because they were defeated as per the rules, so we're not going to be able to move them. We're also not going to be able to move our ships because, again, they were defeated, so we can't touch those guys. What we are going to do is we are going to send our spy over here, right there, just to check up. Ah, yeah, there's his other ship. Just to check up on this army. It's still pretty healthy, actually. The auto resolve really gives the advantage to spearmen or to infantry in general in this sort of campaign. So yeah, the fact that he had more spearmen and we had more cavalry was definitely not a good thing. We're going to try and get a spy into here, just to see the exact results. So he came out with quite a lot of troops. The only thing that he lost really, or that got heavily damaged, was his cavalry, which, you know, was to be expected because we had quite a lot of knights. But yeah, spearmen seem to have dealt with our cavalry quite easily. So instead of going over to Orwell now, we're going to have to defend Ringo. So we are going to, in fact, before we... No, we'll march to Ringo first, And then what we are going to do is, depending on which way these guys can go, I believe these guys can, I believe they'll be able to match either around here or down here. I don't want them to match down here towards Orwell, although there's not a lot I can really do about that. But what we can do is make it a mistake if he does. So we need, I believe, these two, and then these two infantry, maybe a peasant. We're going to march right there, and then we're going to set up a fort, so that it can't march down this way. He can probably march down this way and this way, but if he sieges either of these two, we've got an army to be able to react to that. I don't think he's got spies anywhere. I believe we're the only ones with spies so far, so we are in the better position. We're also going to get some more troops and a spy. We're currently upgrading this to a wooden castle, which will give us access to the mailed knights, which again, there's no real point in getting mailed knights, but at least it'll give us that, give us some troop training options, and also it'll allow us to retrain some of these knights. And then we're also getting a port here, right up here, so that we can start building our ships again. As per the rules, I don't think you can attack ships in port, so we can actually build up a fleet in the port and not have it be attacked straight off the bat, which will be a bit helpful to ourselves. And we are going to, not sure what I want to do here, because I think maybe we should start building some training facilities, even though we're going to need ships to bring them over here anyway. I think that will benefit us a little bit. It's not going to tell us what's in that force, but I can imagine it's probably a spear unit, probably one of the more weakened spear units. In terms of end of turn report, we're not going to be on here at all. We've suffered quite a heavy loss there, so we've actually probably gone to the bottom of the list. We are still making money, so that's at least something. But in terms of overall performance, we are going to start suffering. There's a Swissmanian fleet here coming up from the south, probably doing some scouting, seeing what's going on. I should probably have scouted England as well, just to see what was happening. But my main threat is from the Turks now. They are going to be in the better position to defeat us now. But as I say, I'm not going to give up that easily. We're going to sort of put up a fight here, and try and push the Turks back, and eventually, hopefully, retake Genghis. But if I can't retake Genghis, I will try and move further inland. I think I don't want to push too much against England, but I want to maybe avoid the Turks. If we can keep this coast under wraps, then we should hopefully be able to gain more ground down here, maybe, and then from there push on. That was my original plan anyway. The Turks really forced my hand to attack them here, which again was probably a foolish mistake, but you know, we had to do something to them, otherwise they would have most certainly pushed us on. But I did realise that the auto-resolve may screw me over at some point. As I say, the auto-resolve just benefits infantry way more than cavalry and archers, so we've been put in a difficult position now. I guess it's too much manually resolved campaigns that I've played. Certainly hot seat wise, my last auto-resolve hot seat was the Britannia hot seat that Swissman again hosted, and that was a while ago. And even then, my performance in that was a bit shoddy. So I expected nothing less from this campaign. Hopefully, though, these archers will help give Ringo a bit more defence, and this army will allow us to, as I say, reinforce either of these two, and hopefully maybe defeat that army, although I'd need quite a lot of infantry to do that. We'll see. It might just be a lost cause trying to defend this part of the land. I don't know what else to suggest other than starting afresh, maybe taking some troops on a ship, moving out to our world, taking some troops on a ship, and then moving maybe towards the centre lands, securing the centre, or maybe even moving further and sort of taking some lands down here. Just basically moving away from the Turks as far as possible. We'll consider it as a last resort. I should really have my Emperor sort of over here then in that case, but again, last resort is sort of to hop to Napoleon, maybe take Napoleon. I think I could it's quite a significant force actually, that, with billmen and things, and longbowmen. Yeah, I don't think taking Napoleon would be that easy, but if we can take sort of maybe this land here, I don't know what's on this island, and maybe hit this coast, we can keep ourselves away from the Turks, because they've been in the position to take us out just from the start of this campaign, and I always hate campaigns where I can basically be attacked straight off the bat. So I'm gonna have to try and avoid the Turks now as much as possible. Maybe defeat this army and consider an exit plan before the Turks can build up and push on us a bit further here. Maybe leave these peasants to defend these two lands, and then push on. Use Kaiser as a staging point to push onto these lands and find some new lands, because that's what us Northmen are good at doing, is navigating ourselves to new lands and setting up shop there. It will make us a lot slower in this campaign than other people, but it is better than being beaten by the Turks on turn 4 or 5. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do in this campaign. It adds a bit more element to it, a much more amusing element, and it gives us some options in terms of just making this campaign as fun as possible, because this is one of the few campaigns that I actually like for being creative. The Northmen, I feel like I've created into my own personal role-playing faction, and to have them defeated so early on would be so sad, because I know a lot of these players are probably not too into their factions. I don't know how Sar is with role-playing, but he's probably just here to win, whereas I would like to really make something of this faction. I have a whole faction history, a video that I want to share as well a bit later on. We'll see if I actually do that. Depends on whether I can actually survive this onslaught. As I say, I'm not afraid to move to different lands, maybe to this continent, and maybe help the Venetians take on the Russians, or what have you. Not talking diplomacy there. I've not actually spoken to any of these guys yet, but the options are open to me to just move to these lands and see what I can do. I'll maybe do a run around. I could even sort of go back on myself and try and take the Turks from behind, and maybe get England, counter sandwich them. There are options, but certainly staying in these lands is probably suicide at this point. So we'll see what the Turks do next turn. They will probably destroy me on the next turn, which would be sad. I would have to use this general, get this general out of here. try and salvage as many troops as possible to Kaiser, and then sail them this way, or this way, or this way. Basically sail them out of this zone, because that is going to be suicide, I think. The Turks having more ships than me is a concern, so we'll have to take a settlement that would be able to get a nice port up. Bismarck would be quite good to take as a castle. Yeah, I think I would end up taking Teddy Roosevelt and moving on from there. But for now, that is the turn. Sorry for the rambling at the end, but I'm just going over my options. It's not been a great start to this campaign, but hopefully I can salvage something from this. We'll give the Turks the initiative now. Do they want to attack, try and siege this fort, which I won't really be able to do much about, or do they want to go down to Orwell, or do they maybe even want to try and kill my emperor going down this way? Who knows, but certainly we'll have to find ways of dealing with the next turn. Certainly they caught me off guard by actually defeating the army, but I did anticipate it was one of the options that could happen. So again, for this next turn, I don't know what they have planned or what they will be able to do to my armies. We'll just have to wait and see for the next turn. So we can end the turn. We will save it, and save it as Boys in Blood. I think they're still, yeah, Boys in Blood of Our Enemies. Excellent. So I'll save that for them, and I shall pass it on to them. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next video.